Welcome to the first PSA podcast. In this podcast, we're going to be talking about the Man United and Tottenham Europa League final. And I have two guests with me. The first guest I have, Nasti, the king of food in Ireland. He has been everywhere. He brings his spice bag everywhere with him. And here he is today. And he's also a massive Man United fan.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Rob.
Who do you reckon's going to win?
It's tough. Obviously, I want to back United, of course. Another thing that sort of plays into that, obviously, who we're up against, Spurs, can't let them win a final. I mean, as bad as we have been this season, miraculously, there has been somebody worse. So I'm thinking, mixed with that, and also Spurs and their unfortunate record in finals, surely we got to get it done.
There's so much on the line for both teams. And also my second guest, he's the biggest Liverpool fan in the country, Jonathan Morley. Johnny, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me, Rob. Pleasure to be on. I'm enjoying myself. After Liverpool obviously won their 20th league title, we get to watch the Minnows fight it out now in a couple of weeks' time for a second-grade European trophy. But yeah, all good.
I'm sure you'll be supporting Tottenham in the final.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they have every chance. I think it's a very 50-50 game. I mean, they're both having very similar seasons. Ange's quote at the start of the season could potentially become one of the coldest quotes of all time. I always win things in my second season. And I don't know, I think it's all to play for. I can see this. Look, it's all on the day. It's one of those finals. Obviously, they're all on the day. But between these two sides, I don't really think either has any sort of an advantage over the other.
That's a very fair point. Yeah. When you look at the last 6 times they played each other, United haven't beaten them. There's been 4 wins for Tottenham, 2 draws, two twos draws. They have to break that. They have to break that, and doing that in the final is another pressure thing. So
yeah,
I think the level of motivation for us in games this season, especially in that latter stage of the Europa League, it's just been different. I mean, you see us like getting hammered by Newcastle, getting beat at home to West Ham, and then we go and blow Bilbao out of the water, who due respect to them, like they're 4th in La Liga.
Yeah.
Just there with Barca and Real. So like, I mean, that is an impressive win in itself, and I'm just noticing when I watch them, it's like they're just letting these games pass by and almost cruise by them in the Premier League and just waiting for the Europa League. And I'm not happy to see that as a fan, but at the same time, if that means that we get that big win at the end of it and get Champions League football next season, I'm not going to be sitting here complaining.
That's fair. When I think about how United, they win one game and then they lose the next, like it just came to me, the guy who he hasn't cut his hair until United win 5 games.
Yeah, he could be waiting a while.
What do you reckon, Johnny?
Well, we were saying this before, and I think it won't happen next season. Never mind this season. Well, it can happen this season.
He's gonna have dreadlocks.
Oh, he will. He will. He'll be like Sideshow Bob by the end of next season. But yeah, look. Obviously, who is it a bigger game for? I think it's equal, really. To be honest, I think Spurs. Obviously, they haven't won a big trophy, or they haven't won a trophy properly in so long. United have had their worst season ever, and they can somewhat save it, not completely save it. I'm not buying into that of winning the Europa League and get Champions League football. But yeah, look, I suppose that's a good question. Ultimately, I think that Spurs have every chance of beating United. Really, I do.
On that, do you think it's fair that a team that wins the Europa League final gets Champions League the next season, or that's a big topic? Arsene Wenger going on about.
It's a great question, and I didn't kind of say anything on it, but I fully agree with Arsene Wenger. I really do. And then people would say, oh, well, you wouldn't have said that when Liverpool were back in the Europa League. Fair enough. Well, actually, that actually didn't come into effect, that if you win the Europa League, you get Champions League.
Remember that Atlanta game?
Yeah, exactly. And they were, like, people would say that about, when we were in the Europa League. But I just struggle to think that you beat Bodo Glimt in a semi-final, or you beat a poor Spanish side in a semi-final, and it's 2 of the worst teams in England coming up against each other, and one of them gets Champions League football. I can't wrap my head around that. How difficult is it to get top 5 in the Premier League? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you compare that, like, say, look at Aston Villa's journey this season. Do you know what I mean? Aston Villa would beat any of those teams out of the park. They might not even get Champions League football this season. So is it fair I'm not so sure.
Well, when you look at like winning a Europa League, what that means in a nutshell, it's like you've maxed out the competition. So you sort of have to incentivize that by letting whoever wins it get on to the next stage. And I suppose like this wasn't always a thing. I don't know what year it was brought into effect. I think it was one of the years where Sevilla won like 3 in a row, wasn't it?
It's not that long out, yeah.
But I mean, obviously, I'm a little bit biased this year, but this wouldn't be a recent opinion I've had. I think that, there's got to be something that incentivizes winning the Europa League more than just the trophy itself, because it means different things, right? As you alluded to with Bodo Glimt. Like, imagine them winning a Europa League. I would be surprised if they're even thinking about the Champions League will be that massive that the trophy itself, or like even when Olympiacos won the Conference League, like it means more to smaller teams, and by having bigger teams in your competition, there has to be something that means more. So,
well, I would say now, if you look at the standard of the Europa League now this season, and it's stark with the final that we have in front of us. I would say since they dropped the rule, since they brought the league phase in, and since they dropped the rule of Champions League teams coming down to the Europa League, they should have dropped that rule as well of the winners getting Champions League football, because it's clear, and when you look at the Europa League this season, even when you look at the Conference League, it's clear the quality apart from the Champions League is severely decreased from previous seasons.
Yeah, I'd agree. That's very true.
I don't know. I think that obviously the quality of the Europa League has gotten a little bit lower, especially in the later stages because of that. But also, I think a big reason...
But when you look at the final last year, like Atalanta, Leverkusen, a bit of a disappointing final.
But two good teams though, yeah.
And then Rangers reached the final the year before.
Yeah. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it?
But I think through the whole stages, I'd probably agree with what he's saying. But I
United
think
actually, they were in the final against Villarreal.
Lost like 10-9 or 11-10 on penalties.
De Gea missed the penalty. Yeah, I remember watching that.
But I think by taking out, obviously with the league phase coming into play and Champions League teams not going down into the Europa League, and even Europa League teams not going down to the Conference League, it kind of makes it more special. I mean, I always felt it was cruelly unfair to teams that were like winning their groups in the Europa League, and then they have to get matched up against teams that it's almost like a disappointment to them that they're going into the competition. So I still think you have to have that added incentive to a second or a third tier trophy.
It's just like when you allude to teams like Celtic, who obviously were knocked out in the league phase playoffs in the Champions League this season, and you look at teams like that, or other clubs that were knocked out at that particular stage, and if they were to be put into the Europa League, I think they would match or near match, certainly.
Yeah, because Celtic put it right up to Bayern Munich.
Absolutely. I think
you put them in the Europa League. I'd love to see the Celtic team this season play United or Spurs. They probably would pick up a result.
And like a European trophy, obviously Celtic have won the biggest before, but a European trophy, even the Europa League, would be huge for Celtic now, or any of those other clubs that were in the Champions League that got to the playoffs and eventually didn't go through. So I think it is harsh, but look, it's one of those. Am I completely against it? Maybe no, but Arsene Wenger has a point, certainly. He has a point.
It's a valid opinion. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I guess then, like as a synopsis, would you say that the league phase is a better model than what they did previously have?
Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Yes, I would. But as I said, a couple of differences, maybe a couple of changes in rules. I think the Champions League team, they should drop down. Yeah.
It just goes to show though, like nobody was having a bar of it when it was first suggested, but I think the general consensus is that people appreciate it.
Remember when they were going to come out with the Super League and everyone was going that? A lot of people were going against that. That would have been crazy.
Still hearing talks of that in the pipeline.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, it probably will happen in the future.
Saudi League down the line.
Yeah, imagine. But like, I mean, to be fair, I think the new format has revitalized the Champions League as a whole, to be honest. But as I said, if there was a couple of changes, I wouldn't mind it. I just don't think that's really fair for teams like Celtic this season. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we're having a lot of teams have to play a lot of games as well and to fit it into their schedules.
Absolutely. I mean, being biased, I mean, Liverpool finished first, and we got the best team in the Champions League in the last 16, which was incredibly unlucky. But look, also, actually, if furthering on to that, I think another change that has to happen is so basically, obviously, you have the top 8 that go through. You have 9 to 24 that go into the playoff phase.
Yeah.
I believe that the lowest qualifier in the league phase should play first. So
it's not like that.
No, it's not like that.
It's completely randomized.
It's basically so the highest qualifier plays like the two. They're guaranteed to play like a lower team, whereas the second highest qualifier is the same as well.
Yeah.
They're put into like each twos. And Liverpool obviously got PSG. Club Brugge went through. They were the lowest qualifier in 24th. I believe that first should play 24th. I believe whoever comes through those league phase playoffs, the lowest ranked before that should play.
Kind of like with the Darts Premier League, who first plays fourth and finals night and second plays third.
Yeah.
You kind of see where you
because
get
like
from there,
Liverpool shouldn't be getting PSG. That's a final.
Well,
that's a final.
Even with the old model with the group stage, like didn't you have first playing the second places?
You did.
So like I know it's lesser to an extent. But
yeah, in the group stage.
They definitely should. Yeah. Like there's definitely improvements that can be made to that model. I think it's good that they brought it in the first place. But yeah, I think if enough fans like get talking about this, they'll probably have to look into adding things to it.
It is good. Like, as a whole, it is good. It's better than the group stage because it was dragging on. It was getting boring. Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna do a €500 bet with both of the lads. They're both going to pick one player to score that they fancy and one player to get carded. And if either happens for either of them, they're going to be getting cash. And I'm going to also match it with a charity if anything happens, whether one of the players scores, one of them get carded. So we'll start with Johnny. In the final, Tottenham against United. Who would you pick to score anytime?
He's had a bit of form lately. He's a good player. I don't think he's fully taken off at Spurs in the form that he had last season with Bournemouth. I'm gonna go safe. I'm gonna go with Dominic Solanke. He's got a few big goals lately, especially in Europe. I think both teams will score on this game, and I believe Solanke is the best chance. I was thinking about Madison or Kulusevski. Madison's obviously not going to play, but Kulusevski hasn't been on the best form, so I'll go safe and go Solanke.
That's a fair point. And before I ask Nasti, I'm also going to add that I'm going to be sharing a bet towards the end of this video, which I like for the final. I'm going to share my reason and hopefully get all of you a winning bet. Nasti, who do you fancy to score in the final for 500 quid?
I'm going with a man who I'm a big fan of. Haven't seen a great deal of him since he's been in a Manchester United shirt, but he's had a good couple of runs a game, so I think Mason Mount is going to get on the score sheet. I was thinking, I mean, if I was doing a bet on this, I'd say maybe score or assist. But if I see him getting either, I see him getting a goal. And look, before I put that out there, I think that this will be a tightly contested game. Yeah. I'm not like very sure that United will win it, but I could see Mason Mount scoring.
Yeah. Fair. We're laughing. We'll be looking back at this and it's a winning goal.
Yeah, he might with United, like they're a bag of revels. I mean, you never know who is going to turn up in each game. Obviously, Bruno is the constant there, but apart from Bruno,
I think of either teams, you could say that.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
And it's not like a game against Spurs is a significant step up in competition from any of these teams. No. I'd argue it's even a step up from Bilbao. So, as I said, it's a final and it's going to be tightly contested. But I think Mason Mount.
Fair, that's a fair point, huh?
I have a question, Rob. If it ends 0-0, does that carry into extra time?
Yes. Okay. I'll honour the bet. Bookies won't do that now, but I'll honour it.
Absolutely.
Because we did that last year when we went to the Portugal game. Yeah. Johnny, we did this. You have 500 quid bet. We shook hands and Ronaldo had a penalty in extra time and Johnny was crying when he missed it.
It's a great save, but
I was crying. I didn't even have a bet on.
No, at least he scored in the shoot.
Ronaldo's your goat, though, isn't
he? He's always the one I prefer. I'm
a Messi man.
Yeah, I'm a Ronaldo man. Firm.
Messi.
I to be fair,
I think he sealed it. The World Cup, he just sealed it.
Even though I think it's the most rigged World Cup of all time.
120
Let them know, Morley. Let them know.
Yeah, it is.
The 120 a minute, true on goal, thing saves it, and you can't scrap it.
I know, yeah, no. Colin Moani, Oh
Yeah, Colin Miami, yeah.
Genuinely, I mean,
one of the best finals ever.
It was.
Any
It
tournament.
was.
Sure, yeah.
But the only reason that was made close was Mbappe. Mbappe was unbelievable in that game. But I mean, like my Argentinian goat is on my shirt behind me, Alexis McAllister. Yeah, and I'm delighted he has his World Cup. You know, he's one of the best midfielders in the world. He absolutely deserves it. But I mean, Argentina got like 4 or 5 penalties in that World Cup. Like it was just like, all right, lads, this is his last chance. Let's just make it as easy as possible. And I don't hate Messi. It's just
They're not even trying to hide it anymore.
Yeah, it's just I don't hate Messi. I like Messi. Like in terms of ability, probably the greatest of all time. But at the same time, you know,
Before the World Cup started, I actually shared a free tip, got over 700,000 views from Messi to get the golden ball.
Oh yeah,
Player of the tournament, odds of 10-1.
Yeah.
And that obviously came in. But I remember after it came in, there was a guy that was commenting below my socials, and he was like, I lose £2,000 because of you. You told me to bet on Messi to get the golden boot. And I replied to him, I said the golden ball.
Yeah, the best player.
The golden ball and the golden boot are
Who
two
got the
different
golden
things.
boot?
Mbappe.
Yeah.
Mbappe got won by 1 goal because he scored the 3 in the final.
Yeah, of course.
So if I said to your man, if you put the 2,000 on Messi to get the golden ball player of the tournament, you would have won 22 grand.
My
You know, but
Jeez,
Nothing
yeah.
you can
10
do
to 1
there.
was mad.
10
for
to 1
Messi,
was
to
a
be
crazy
fair.
price
that was
for him.
that was a great tip.
Actually, yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So then moving on from the players to score. So you've gone with Solanke.
Yeah.
And you've gone with Mason Mount.
I have.
So if either of them score, I'll be down. If they both score, I'll be down £1,000. Either of them score will be 500. And then we're going to do a player to get carded. Johnny, if you have to pick a player to get booked in the final in Bilbao, who are you going with?
I think there'll be a couple of cards on each side. Like obviously, with the goal score, I wanted to go with Spurs, obviously, because I don't want to see United win or score. But Spurs, I think there's a few shouts. United, there's a few shouts.
Are you going to go with a Spurs or United player?
I'm thinking Spurs, and I'm gonna go Pap Sarr in defensive midfield. I think he's a good shout. He got a card earlier on against United this season. He likes a card, and yeah, I think without kind of a little bit of cover in front of him, he might, especially with Maddison being out, he might have to do a little bit more. United's midfield has been good, obviously Bruno as well, so might have to put in a couple of tackles in the game, especially later on. If Spurs are winning, then there might be some tactical fouls or something like that to get me over the line.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah. Johnny, on to Nasti. Who are you picking to get carded?
It's a good shout by Morley, to be fair. I'm going to go plain and boring. He's probably the favourite on the market to get carded, but it's a final. No doubt he's going to be heavily involved. I know you've tipped him a few times. He is a bit hot-headed, but I'm going to go Manu Ugarte.
Fair. Very, very fair. He's... I've bad luck when sometimes when I back him, I was one game, I remember we're waiting on him for a bet, and he had 6 fouls, and the ref just went over to him, I think on the 5th and 6th occasion, give him like a warning. It's like, how have you not booked him yet?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Actually, have you looked at the ref? Like, has he?
I don't think the ref's been announced yet. It's usually a few days before.
Same with the Champions League, it hasn't been.
It's definitely something to look at. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing with finals. The card, like teams don't want to get someone sent off early, or they don't want to be on a warning early, so the players can kind of in the first half be a bit cautious about fouling for no reason.
Like goals and cards can be low in finals, even with kind of two poor defensive sides, United and Spurs, and two kind of poorly organised sides. There's a lot on the line for both. It probably will be somewhat cagey. So
Nasti, not only are you a football fan, but you're also an MMA fan.
I am indeed.
If you're having a date with your missus, you'll be watching the UFC at home, having a spice bag.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because as a token of my appreciation to you having me on, I brought on a spice bag. So look, I mean, I can't promise that it's particularly fresh. You know, it is early in the day, so it's a struggle to get one. But you know, we ordered one in last night, so I think there's still some chicken floating about if anyone wants to indulge there. I'm good.
I like it fresh.
But look, it's still holding its weight, so quality wise, it's still there.
You're a brave man eating that.
Where would you say the best spice bag in Ireland?
Oh, I've made this firm over the course of my Curry Saturday videos. It has to be Golden City in Edenmore.
Really? I've never tried that. Have you, Johnny?
No,
They've two of them. So there's one in Edenmore, and there's one in Darndale.
Are they paying you to say this?
Absolutely not. They don't even have social media. If you go on, they don't have any social media. And this is what everybody always
Is
says.
it one of them Chinese that only take cash as well?
Unfortunately, no, because they're on Just Eat. But if they were cash only, that would be the icing on the cake, you know.
Fair.
But for me, they've always been the best.
Yeah.
They are local now, so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but
I must try more spice bags in Dublin. I really like Jan street food.
They're good.
Yeah, the spice
Very
bag.
good.
But so many like the ones that you said and stuff like that. I haven't tried. Like my brother lives. It's near the city centre. So like I mean like there's a lot of places maybe on kind of on the outskirts that I haven't been to or whatever. But
I've actually I've had good ones outside of Dublin.
Really?
I forget the name now, but like when I was in Sligo last time, there was a young fella who ran up to me with a spice bag.
you were
Like
saying.
literally gave me a spice bag and I tried it and I said,
Anything could have been in it.
Oh yeah,
oh
absolutely.
yeah, but if it's a spice bag, I'm eating it. I don't care what's in it.
Brave man.
Oh yeah, but
I wouldn't.
It was absolutely scintillating, I have to say.
Really?
And I asked him, where's it from? He was like, I don't know. He didn't even know himself.
Doesn't even know where he got it from.
So whoever that, it was,
His mother made it at home.
She could have.
it was near the train station in Sligo. So if anyone knows what one I'm talking about, that was a
Someone
sublime
comment
thing.
below if you know what Chinese
yeah.
is.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
And what about the worst?
Riri's in Parkgate Street.
Right.
Sounds bad.
I think it's the only one I've ever given a below 1 rating.
Really?
Yeah.
And why was it so bad?
Everything went wrong. I mean, they put onion rings in the spice bag.
Yeah.
And they forgot my rice, so I called them. I had ordered rice, and they said, we're closed now, or we're closing down. And I said, well, I don't have my rice. And they said, there's nothing we can do about it. Not even a refund, so I had to use one of those Dunn's packets of vegetable rice.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely poxy going on the spice bag. Wrecked the whole bus altogether. But
Would you never
There
have
was
it
just-
without rice? I always have it without
well,
rice.
like I could just eat a spice bag
Yeah.
now, but I mean, if you're having the full shebang, the whole, nasty special curry on a Saturday night, you have to have the egg
Remove the
fried
ramen
rice.
food, as you
Yeah,
say.
yeah, the curry sauce, the sweet and sour, you have to have the whole shebang.
yeah,
And even the sauces, they were just awful.
Has to be the right texture.
Yeah,
now.
it was by far the worst. Like, not only curry, the worst like establishment I've eaten at.
Really,
for
yeah.
sure.
Really?
You should go back and see just like
If it's
has it improved in any way.
it got worse.
They see him coming and they're like, oh no.
Yeah, well, I'm yet to see anybody speak highly of it. So.
Yeah. There is that takeaway or a Chinese in Dublin that looks like it's like you're going into a prison or something, but it's supposed to be really nice.
Is it Chinese?
Yes.
Huh.
Is it summer in or something?
Somewhere in.
Yeah, is it in? I don't know where it is, but like they've done videos of it on TikTok, and like it looks pure scrap
wait, is it-
everywhere.
is
Like,
it
it's
Thomas
it's
Street?
It could be. It's even like dirty inside.
I
and
think I
everything,
know.
but they say like the
yeah,
spice bag
I think I
is
know what
great.
you're talking about. It actually
Yeah.
is solid.
Yeah.
It actually is good. So
Yeah.
I mean, somewhere in have like multiple branches. So there's like that's the problem when you do have places with multiple branches. There's like good ones and bad ones, and sometimes the quality gets diluted.
Yeah.
But out of that particular one, it is solid.
Really?
Yeah.
Fair.
Mm.
It can be like that as well. You can go somewhere and get something, and the next time you go, it could be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fair.
But,
There's
yeah.
a
Gems.
chicken shop that sells like phones and all. Near
yeah.
Croke Park,
You were
Dublin
saying
fried
that.
chicken. It's crazy.
Oh, DFC. That's on
DFC.
Dorset Street, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I go past it all the
They
time.
sell phones and all in it. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's
That's
I've never heard of anything like
probably
that.
doing better than the actual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you want, a phone or a chicken?
I'll take the phone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. On the notes, so we have the two lads, 500 quid each. You've gone with
Solanke and
Solanke
Papsar.
and
Mason Mount.
Papsar to be carded. And
Mason Mount and Ugarte to be carded.
and Ugarte. If any of them four players score or get carded, the lads get 500 quid each of each player, and I'll also match it to charity. Now, this is something that I'm looking forward to. We're going to do a forfeit for the final. The forfeit is going to be very interesting. So, as you know, Jonathan Morley, huge Liverpool fan, and Nasti, massive Man United fan.
I'm nervous.
And the forfeit that I've decided is if Tottenham win, Johnny has to wear a Man United jersey in his next video after the final. And if Tottenham win, Nasti has to wear a Tottenham jersey in his next video. So can we get a shake of hands
I'll happily shake hands on that because I thought you'd say a Liverpool shirt.
Yes, I was actually just going to say to have the bet hold the same weight, it has to be a Liverpool shirt for him.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I never want to even touch a Manchester United jersey in my life. You can pay me any money in the world and I won't wear it. But
if it's Liverpool United,
there
you go, Nasty.
Then for it to
You're
hold the
confident
same
they're
weight.
going to win. So
Come on.
So if United win, Johnny is going to be wearing a United jersey, and if Tottenham win, then it's going to be the other way around.
Fuck's sake. Okay.
You'll be wearing.
No, it's fine. We're gonna.
If Tottenham win, you wear Liverpool. And United.
It's fine.
I actually feel nervous.
You're relying on Spurs.
I know. Don't get me wrong. I think they have a good chance, but
I think I kind of want United to win. I just see Johnny in the jersey.
Be the worst day of my life. It'd be the worst day of my life.
What is it? Just in the video?
Yeah, just
in the video. Okay.
In your next video.
It's not.
A Liverpool jersey would suit you. To be fair,
no,
it suits you like the champions, most successful.
Anything
club
would suit
in
me,
England.
Morley, but that would be the
biggest club in England, the most successful club in England, 6 European Cups.
And what do you have with you for you have something?
Oh yeah, well I knew Nasti was going to bring a spice bag, so I said obviously with the Europa League final coming up, I said I'd get him a little present.
Oh, here we go.
I'll let him do the.
What have you got for me?
I'll let him do the reveal. You can wear that for the final.
I tell you one thing, I'll be wiping my arse with this on Wednesday week. Yeah,
the disrespect to Big Ange.
The Big Ange fella.
And you can ask my bollocks. You're getting bet in that final.
Big Ange is one of us. He's one of us.
As he says, he always wins in his second year.
He does, exactly. I mean, you've got to respect Big Ange. You know, I mean, like. He is going to, as I said earlier on the podcast, he is genuinely going to have one of the coldest quotes at the end of the season. Because
you can't seriously be confident in them getting it.
I'm not saying I'm confident, but I'm saying it's 50-50. It's very much 50-50. And I think Spurs are due at some stage. I really do. Surely they're due at some stage.
They're knocking on the door.
Not this time.
You know?
Not this isn't the time.
That United side is so beatable. Obviously Spurs are as well, but you know what I mean? It's so beatable. If Ange can just do something for this game. Like I think there's more on the line for Spurs, honestly, actually. I mentioned that earlier. Like it's kind of level, but I think there's more on the line for Spurs than there is United, just because it's an actual trophy for Spurs.
As bad as we have been and as woeful a season as this has been, losing to Spurs and letting them win a trophy will be an all-time low that I will never recover from. And that is why this is not their year.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, United have had so many lows this season. I mean, it's tough to pick one that's an all-time low.
But not in a final to Spurs. That's as low as it
16th
goes.
and 17th.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but leave the Premier League at the door. This is a final against Spurs.
You can't.
That's all it is.
You can't leave the Premier League at the door completely. Yeah, maybe for one
Well,
game.
no, but they don't hold any extra leverage.
Maybe for
they did
one game.
beat us 3 times. But
That's
this is a final.
3 years.
That's it. Like as Rob said earlier, I mean, United haven't beaten Spurs for 3 years. So I mean, look, I think United fans who think this is cut and dry just because it's Spurs is crazy. I think
No, and I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I just ultimately, when it comes to lifting that trophy, I just can't vision Spurs doing it.
A lot of you probably wondering, what am I going to have for a bet for the game? One bet that I do like the look of is under 2.5 goals at even money. Both teams, the last time they played, it was 1-0 Tottenham. You look at 3 of the last 4 Europa League finals, 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. Last year was obviously 3-0. I think it's going to be a cagey game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring one. I think that's a good bet. I'm going to wrap things up. I would like to thank everyone who watched the video. Make sure you drop a like on this video. Comment below who you think is going to win the final. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel. But before we wrap things up, I'm going to ask Johnny, who correct score prediction for the final?
I'm going to say 1-1 and Spurs win on penalties. Yeah, Onana washed. Yeah, Spurs win on penalties, yeah.
Right, I'm gonna say 1-1 and make it interesting. United on penalties.
That's fair as well.
I'm going to say 1-0 United in 90 minutes.
United keeping a clean sheet?
1-0.
Clean sheet? Can't see it.
1-0.
Fair.
Fair. I'd like to thank everyone that tuned in. Make sure you like on the video, subscribe. I'd like to thank all behind the scenes and everyone that's put this together. And looking forward to doing the next podcast. See you all soon.